actually here. I know I can't, and if you're anything like me, 2019 flew by in an absolute blink. But that being said, I am back finally. It's been probably almost 6 months since I uploaded a video. But I have been planning, and a lot has been going on in my life that I'm really excited to share with you guys. And so that being said, I'm just going to dive right in because 2020, at least through the first 6 months of the year, I'm going to be sharing my pregnancy journey. I found out that I was pregnant on my 30th birthday, and that was right before we were planning on traveling to Hawaii for a vacation. And we had been trying to figure out a time to go to Hawaii for, ever since my husband and I first started dating. And so it was pretty funny to find out that we were pregnant right before we left for this trip. But the whole story was kind of funny because, and this is like, if you are a little bit squeamish about pregnancy things, feel free to skip ahead or anything like that, but I will be going into a little bit of detail because I think it's important to share these things for both men and women because it's a natural part of life, and there's a lot of things that people just don't talk about when it comes to pregnancy, and yet they're super common, super healthy, and super natural. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing my experience so that other women who maybe have a similar experience or men whose partners have an experience can know that, there's other people out there who are experiencing the things that they're going through. So anyways, this was actually my first time taking a pregnancy test. And if you've ever taken a pregnancy test before, they're not the easiest things to do. You get this little stick and you basically have to go to the bathroom on it. And so the first time that I did it, I actually completely missed the stick and didn't even know that I did. So I put the stick down on the countertop and waited the 2 to 5 minutes that it said, and nothing happened. Like, there's usually like a blue line or a plus sign or a minus sign or something that happens, even if there's a negative. And absolutely nothing happened. So I felt kind of defeated. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll try again in the morning. So the next morning, I decided to give it a go again and was successful. And this time I put it on the counter, and literally within 10 seconds, the blue line appeared. And the type of test that I got, there's a skinny blue line and then a thicker blue line. And the thicker blue line means that it's positive. It means that you're pregnant. And both lines appeared instantaneously, like literally within 10 seconds. And so I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute. So what does this mean? Do I need to take another one to make sure? Is there a false positive? I was so unsure, but I was also very excited. So I went into the bedroom to wake up my husband because he was still sleeping. And I was like, there's a blue line, there's a blue line. He goes, what does that mean? I was like, it's positive. He's like, what does that mean? I'm like, that means I'm pregnant. So it was kind of a funny story there. And so we found out we were pregnant. We obviously were not ready to tell anybody at that point because in less than a week we were headed off to Hawaii. So there was a lot of things to do, but I did call my doctor right away just to make sure. And she said, yes, please go relax, have fun, do all that kind of stuff. But when you get back, start to schedule your first appointment. I was like, perfect. So we left for Hawaii. Fabulous vacation time, and it was absolutely breathtaking. We did lots of hiking. We were very active, eating lots of food, drinking plenty of water, all that good stuff. One interesting thing is I was so excited to try coffee in Hawaii. I really enjoy coffee, and even if it was decaf, I was okay with it because I was planning on not having any caffeine through my pregnancy. For my own reasons, I know that research does say up to 200 milligrams a day is considered safe, but just for me, I would rather just stick with no coffee at all or decaf. But since we were on vacation in Hawaii, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have some decaf coffee and it's gonna be great because it's local. And so I started trying coffee and I just did not like it. I don't know what it was. I doubt it was the Hawaiian coffee because even when I got back home, I still just didn't like coffee. The whole first trimester, coffee was just completely grossed me out. Another funny thing that happened while we were in Hawaii is that I was craving plain white rice, nothing on it, just a bowl of white rice sounded absolutely fantastic to me. And sub sandwiches of all things. And the big part of that I was craving was the warm toasted crusty bread with cold crunchy lettuce. Like those two things together sounded absolutely amazing to me. So those were kind of some of my early food cravings, I guess if you call it that. But yeah, so while we were in Hawaii, we had lots of hiking, as I mentioned before, and I was feeling really good. We stayed there for about 2 weeks, and the first week I felt fantastic, and that's when we were doing all of our hiking. The second week is actually when some of my morning sickness kicked in. And for anyone who doesn't know, morning sickness is not limited to the morning. As a matter of fact, mine was mostly in the afternoon through the evening. So I would wake up in the morning feeling great and energized and like ready to go. And by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I needed a nap. And by 3, I was full on into nausea mode. Thankfully, I never had to vomit, but I was nauseous the entire evening. Like there were 2 nights in particular that I remember that we didn't even leave the hotel room because I couldn't get out of bed. I felt so nauseous. Other times I could have some like ginger tea or lemon tea or some bread or crackers or something kind of plain, and that would help me get enough of my nausea down to go out and keep enjoying Hawaii. So but luckily it didn't interfere too much because most of our stuff was done during the day. But there were some really nice things to see at night that we did get to see. So yeah, and so then after that trip, by the time we got back home, I had scheduled my first appointment to meet with my new doctor. And when I went to that appointment, they confirmed that I was already about 9 weeks along. So in the next video, I'm going to be talking about my experience during the second part of my first trimester, so weeks 9 through 12, and what was kind of happening and going on during that time period. And then I'll also make a separate video that I'll link below about nutrition and yoga tips to consider during your first trimester of pregnancy. Because believe it or not, there's a lot to know before you even conceive. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you subscribe and follow my journey as I learn about this pregnancy and as I go through it. It's pretty interesting and exciting for me because biology and anatomy has always fascinated me and the way that our bodies work. And so physically going through this process is pretty exciting for me, and I'm really excited to share. So let me know if you have any questions about the first trimester or any part of pregnancy, and I will be sure to add it into any of my future videos coming up. And so leave those questions and comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.